So we're summoning a great god to our plane of existence. The floor is now open for suggestions.
Suggestions for what?
Which god?
There's more than one?
There's 113.
What?
Wait, do you count the Pale Twins as 1 or 2?
Zagov and Largo? 2.
114.
Oh, how about Mordajib, the mistress ghoul? Takes the form of a giant black cloud? No more global warming?
Isn't she also the great bone peeler?
Yeah, I would like to pitch Yathog Thazoth, the teeth in the deep, the oceanic maw. Let me finish. Never-ending beach party.
He's worshipped by those fish people. Probably have to invite them too.
Suggestion retracted.
Micah, any thoughts?
Jesus?
Well, these are mostly great suggestions.
Come and spend Christmas with me, dear. Come up to my house and play.
I'll be Alex.
Okay. I'm gonna be Doctor.
Me, dear, since the angels took Mary away. You may have some of my playthings, and we'll have a Christmas tree. Come take my hand and don't cry, dear. Come and spend Christmas with me.
Hey guys, welcome to Snobby Robot. I'm your host, Sue Evelyn Gill, and with me are the creators and actors of the Common Cult and Mermaids. Welcome, guys.
Hey, thank you for having us.
I excrete mucus when I get excited.
I'm Chris Ewell, actor and co-producer, director, and editor for stuff.
You are such a brat. I'm Michael Jonathan Smith. I'm writer and creator of Mermaids and Commom Cult.
I'm Alex Ashinger, and actor, producer, just kind of hanging out.
Yeah, that sums it up, actually.
You guys do all the heavy lifting. I'm just here. I show up. They're like, "Here's your storyboard." I'm like, "Okay, great."
I jump up people's backs. That's not true. You do a lot.
So tell me, how did everything start for you? How did you create the show? How did that come about?
We're all friends, and these guys were doing a web series of their own, and it's an improv web series, and I had a lot of fun doing it, and I was like, hey, if I wrote something, would you do it? And they said, sure. So I wrote it, and they did it.
What inspired you to write Mermaids?
It's funny, I actually had this, I had this running idea about a girl and a vampire, and the vampire turned into one of those rubber bats that was like, and I was like, oh, that's such a funny. You've never heard this. So this is no. So then it started with that, and I was like, but even if I wanted to do a parody of a guy and a vampire being roommates, it's like even a parody is overdone. So I was like, well, what is the one supernatural species that has not been touched at all? And it was a mermaid. So that was kind of where it started, and I was like, okay, well, how are we going to do a mermaid without any money on special effects? Because that was the one we just don't have the money and we don't want to do special effects. And I was like, well, what if he's a mermaid on the inside? And that's how that came about. So yeah.
Hang on a sec. That's how I breathe.
So after we did Mermaids, I was kind of like, okay, well, the Mermaids is like mostly just a straight man comedy guy sort of thing. So it's just the two of them in all these scenes, and we were like, okay, we had actually all discussed like the next thing we need to do has to have a bigger cast. It needs to be a group of friends, and we had watched a lot of stuff like The League and How I Met Your Mother and a lot of those shows. And what I love about those shows is that it's like a group of friends, and they're always trying to make each other laugh. And I kind of like that relationship and that idea. So I had a bunch of ideas along those lines, and I wanted to do something that was like similar to Mermaids in that it's like kind of a dark comedy. And that was one of the ideas that I threw to them. And it's just like Mermaids. I wrote the script, sent it to them, like, what do you think? Is this something you'd want to do? And they wrote the script and they liked it. So
you guys write, produce, film this, and do all sorts of roles doing this. So how long does it take you to get everything done?
Well, this guy works a lot harder than just about anybody that I know. Like, it's nice to get approached by him because like his idea of like seeing if you want to do something is like sending you 2 scripts that are already written and being like, do you like this? You want to do it? And it makes it really easy to say yes.
Basically, whenever we had time, we did it. I think it was like a month of straight weekends that we shot Mermaids. And with Mermaids, it was easy because the episodes were so short and they mostly took place in one location. So it was super easy to just, this one.
Yeah, this
so it was
We're
super,
here.
yeah, so it was super easy to just be like, hey, we're going to do 3 episodes in a day. And it was funny because the first episode took the longest. That one took like a full day to do, but then the other ones we just flew through. Like these guys
we got a rhythm in.
Yeah, these guys are such pros that we just kind of flew through those episodes. So.
And then Common Cult we did a Kickstarter for,
Yes.
which was because it was a bigger production. We knew there was a few things we'd have to buy, and we got lucky with that.
How was your plan originally to make it so successful? Because the Common Cult was successful for you guys, right? You did a bigger production. You guys got more money than you expected.
Yeah.
So how was that for you?
Yeah, we didn't really know what to expect with the Kickstarter thing. We actually had a pretty low goal. We were, we were like, okay, what is it actually going to cost for the things we have to spend money on?
Right, and that's like with simple stuff like if we had to rent any equipment, if we had to buy all the costumes, which is where the most of the money went, and then buying food for the cast. That was like the low level. Like, okay, with that in mind, how much, and then also the Kickstarter rewards, and then we factored that in. So we had that as the low level, and then it just happened to hit higher than we thought. So.
I think it helped that we weren't asking for.
How did you guys market yourself? Because you did almost 3 times what you guys wanted originally.
Yeah.
Expected.
Yeah. How did we? I mean, we mostly pushed it out through Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, our friends were nice enough to kind of share it around, and I mean the idea is kind of. I mean, I haven't seen that idea yet, so I think that kind of helped. That it was like, oh, okay, it's a comedy, but it's also got kind of a darker and H.P. Lovecraft. Like, there's a niche of that because that's what the Common Cult. Like, I love H.P. Lovecraft, like horror writing stuff. So it's definitely like there's that niche that helps, and I think with web series, there's just if the idea is good enough, it's easier to rise to the top because on Kickstarter, it's a small pond. There's just not a lot of web series stuff there, and if it is, the people are usually asking too much.
But they don't have a defined
idea. Yeah, that's the
like
thing.
idea because I think part of what helped us was the promo video that we put up.
It was very
clear. Distinct, and it was very clear, and it had our like stamp, our style on it. And I think that really helped because a decent number of our funders were not people we know. They're not people who have any connection to us. In different countries, there was Norway,
Really?
Sweden, just people who enjoy funding on Kickstarter.
Oh, wow.
It turns out that there's this whole group of people who that's what they do with their spare time and money.
And now you guys are talking about doing a second part to it, right?
Yeah. I think the way you left off the first season has a really good, really great setup. I think for a second season, so that we're definitely gonna get into that.
And what are you expecting from that? I mean, your first starter with the campaign was great. It went. So what are you expecting now for the second one? What are your goals for that?
Well, we haven't.
Question.
I guess I have to. To be honest, I have to write it. I mean, what helped with the other thing that helped about with the first Kickstarter was that doing the Kickstarter was actually a relatively last minute decision. We found out that one of our actors was going to be out of town for like a month, and we had to shoot everything. Like we had a 2-week, 3-week period before he was disappearing, and we found this out like a month and a half before, right?
About a month.
Like it was
about a month and a half before.
This all happened. Like we realized it a month before, so I had the episodes loosely written. And I was like, okay, well, we should. I think one of you brought it, or both of you were like, we should raise money. We should do a Kickstarter. So I wrote the Kickstarter promo on one day, we shot it on the second day, and launched it on the third day. So like doing the Kickstarter was a relatively last minute decision. And we had talked a little bit before about like what kind of rewards we might want to do if we ever wanted to do a Kickstarter. So everything was kind of ready. But with that, it was a little bit easier. But like I said, I already had everything written. So it was so much easier for us to be like, great, we got the money, let's start. With the second season, I'm still writing it in my head. Like I haven't quite figured out what the arc's going to be and what everyone's going to be. I have some stories in mind.
Right.
So once we kind of figure out, and also how much bigger we want to go. Like I think we kind of chose our moments this season of like when do we want to go bloody, when do we want to go violent, when do we want to go surprising.
Yeah.
And I think next season it's all about choosing more moments and how much bigger can we go. and then deciding the budget.
Tell me about like when you guys shoot, when you guys get together. Are all the characters always there? You guys shoot one side of the story and then get the other actor come in and shoot the other side, or?
I mean, as much as we can, we try and keep everybody in and to continue to run the scene over. Because I mean, I think we found, especially from our improv stuff, that the more everyone is involved and the more you do the scene together, the better it edits and the easier it is to edit for us.
Yeah, it's always stronger if you have the actors playing off each other. Especially we got lucky with this group of actors; they're all really, really good, present actors. So.
Plus, if you're there, you get to see the blood flying in Chris's face.
Yeah,
in person, and that's the fun part.
Yeah.
How many times did I squirt you with blood?
At least 17.
At least. Oh, that was so much fun.
Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest learning experience out of doing these web series? I mean, obviously at the beginning you guys started just the three of you, and then you grew, your group grew it to more.
I mean, really, for me, it's anything on the production side because, I've done web videos and stuff before, but actually fully shooting and producing and fully editing these things that are, kind of a TV quality writing. Every single. I'm learning a lot about every single stage of it because I don't have a whole lot of experience. It's a lot of learning.
Yeah, like little things like, oh, maybe we should have gotten a lot more reactions. We didn't think about it because we were just because even the dialogue is just so fast that we were just like, just keep going, just go quick, and just we didn't think about that kind of thing. The production side of it definitely, and it also we were like, we should get an extra set of hands because I'm pressing record, looking at the microphone, and making the candle flicker. That, just a little thing like that, like having an extra PA would be amazing next time.
Is there anything else that you're planning to do as far as any other web series or anything like that?
We're gonna do mini-sodes of Commom Cult.
Yeah, that was one of the Kickstarter rewards.
Yeah, and there was a bunch of little videos in there like how to start your own blood cult, and which I just remembered what to do, so that I have to write.
All right.
I'm gonna for the Kickstarter. I'm also gonna write some comics for mermaids and Common Cult, like little stories, and we're gonna do mini-sodes about how everyone met.
Yeah.
Through the Common Cult, which is gonna be kind of cool.
I think we're going to spend the next 8 months working on the Kickstarter reward.
It sort of feels like it.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do. We just huge promises.
It'll be fun, though.
It'll look good.
It's all fun stuff.
As for other web series stuff, I mean, Common Cult Season 2 is going to take some time because I really just want to be able to spend the time to work on it, and we really want to sit down and talk about what do we want to do and really kind of stake that out.
And from both of these web series that you guys have done, obviously you learned from the first one, now you're learning from the second one. What can you tell other people who are actually working on their web series? Like, what's the biggest advice, or what steps can they do to make it successful?
For me, I feel like advice, if you want to make something, just learn everything you can about how to make it. If you don't know someone who's a DP, teach yourself how to use a camera. There's no reason you can't do an idea if you have an idea. I think people it's easy to get stymied up in I don't know how to shoot something, or I don't know how to edit something.
And then you realize quickly that the only thing stopping you is yourself. Because it's oh crap, I need a DP. And kind of getting hung up on that, just you're just stopping yourself. It's I'll just... Renting a camera is super inexpensive. I mean, relatively inexpensive. Especially the camera that we used. We looked it up how much it was to rent it.
What kind of camera did you guys use?
Canon T2i, mostly with the 50mm prime lens. Boom.
He's so proud of the lens.
Yeah, so
cheap lens.
So I mean, yeah. I mean, so it's super easy to do. I mean, from my point of view, I think it's just planning it all out, not writing one episode and then be let's start shooting. It's it's good to take the time. All you have is time to do it.
Right. Take
the time to really kind of plan it out, and that'll help because people will. I mean, I don't know. People will notice when that attention is.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts?
Well, you have to really care about the project you're doing too. It has to be something that really fascinates you, and the people you're working with have to be just as fascinated by it. And like these guys said, learn how to do it because. If you're trying to rely on other people, it's not going to happen. Yeah. Quite frankly. No, and whatever friends you or people you meet, that you meet a DP who's I'll do it for $50. Well, he has his own project he's actually working on. So do it yourself
You need to find reliable people at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
reliable
That's true,
people.
too. That's true, too.
Yeah.
Make
So
good friends.
for anybody who wants to keep following you guys and all the work that you're doing, what are ways for them to keep in contact with all your great shows that you guys are doing?
Mike's cell phone number.
Yeah,
You're
right.
gonna give out your digits.
Well, I guess
The
the best
address
way. I guess the
here
best
is-
way is social security numbers. That's what everyone
Yeah, right.
uses now. You can check out our stuff on our production company is called Working Fish. So you can go to workingfishtv.com. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/workingfish. And then all of our stuff is linked to that workingfishtv.com.
Yeah. That
Or
takes you to YouTube.
yeah, our YouTube is also youtube.com/mermaids the series. So you can find all of us there.
Awesome. All right, so thank you guys so much for having me here and having Snobby Robot with you guys.
Thank you.
I was extremely wasted last night.
You could say that.
Did we... Are you gonna make me say it?
Yes.
Did we
I'll put notes in the YouTube video.
Yeah.
Do you know that? Is this crooked? I can't tell.
Vote.
Some people.
Don't.
Thumbs up.
Don't forget to like and comment.
That's a picture.
Please subscribe.